Hey, we're going to the glass factory and we're going to get some molten cobalt glass and we're going to pour it into molds to make paperweights. So, each mold is a rectangular prism whose height is 3 inches greater than the length of each side of the square base. The machine pours in 20 cubic inches of liquid glass in each mold. Our job is to find the dimensions of the mold. Well, somebody would say, well, why don't we just go look at the blueprint? Well, not that simple. So we need to solve it. Somebody decided they lost the blueprints and now we've got to go find what the dimensions are. I think the first thing to do is draw a picture. So I'm going to draw a picture of a prism here. I'm going to start out with the top of my prism. I could see the whole top. And now the bottom, let's see, I could see this side here and I could see this side here. So I'm good to see the whole front. And then I could see this whole back. So I think it's going to go up like this, and I could see the whole back. I've got that one. Now on the inside I can't see much, so these are going to be all hidden lines. Okay, so we go hidden like that, we go hidden like that, and then we go hidden like so. There we have it. Okay, so this is my height. This is my height of my prism, and the base is a square, and I think I'm going to label this side L and this side L. Okay, and that's good enough. Now, I know that the volume of this prism is going to be 20 inches cubed. I look at the problem and it says the height is 3 inches greater than the length. So that means I have to add 3 to the length. So height is equal to the length plus 3. Let's see, does that make sense? Add this. The height has got to be 3 inches greater than the length, so L is 10, height could be 13. That would make sense, okay? We don't know what the height is, but we'll figure it out. Now, the formula of the volume of a prism is generally written big B times H, not little b. And this big B in a prism represents the area of the base. So you could have a prism with triangles, you could have a prism with circles. We call that a cylinder. So that's the area of the base, and for a square, we know the area is just the side squared. So now I'm going to go ahead and write that with L squared, and then times H. And now what we see is we have an equation that I could get rid of H by substituting in the quantity L plus 3. So let's do that. L squared, and then L plus 3. Okay, so that's our equation. I think we've got it. Now we know then that the volume is going to be 20, and that's going to be L cubed plus 3L squared. So let's put a t-table to see if we could figure out what value of L we would do. So I'm going to check, I'm going to put an L in here, and I want to see what L cubed plus 3L squared is. And I know I could start out smaller, but eventually I'm going to get to 20, or I'm going to figure out what two numbers L has got to be to give us a number around 20. That's called the intermediate value theorem. So sometimes by using a t-table like this, we'll use the intermediate value theorem to get us in the ballpark. So starting with L is 1, I notice that this is 1 plus 3, and that's 4, and it's not 20. We don't have enough. So let's do L is 2. So 2 cubed is 8, and then 3 times 4 is 12. And in fact, we got lucky here. This problem matched up and gave us 1. So we didn't have to do much work. We got L is 2 there. Okay, so it wants to know the dimensions. So L is equal to 2 inches. And then H is 3 inches bigger than L. So then H would be equal to 2 plus 3, which would be 5 inches. So the dimensions now we know are 2 inches for the base and 5 inches to the height. Now, just as a little reminder, we want to make sure we remember some other formulas. Remember, the volume of a cylinder would be V equals the base, which is pi r squared, and that's times H. That's going to be for a cylinder. And another equation we want to know is for a pyramid. Okay, so a pyramid would be V is equal to 1/3 the area of the base times the height. And if we're dealing with a cone, then that B is going to be, so that's a pyramid. a pyramid. And then for a cone, we're going to have V is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times h. The key to remember is the 1/3. Okay, so these are pyramid, PYR, IMID, got it? Okay, so these are some equations too that we're going to be using quite a bit, so we want to know those. Okay, hopefully this helped.